What is up, guys? Welcome to the Dynasty Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb. Got a good show for you today. Going to be breaking down the DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Tennessee Titans. So the landing spot has been confirmed. DeAndre Hopkins is what I put. DeAndre Hopkins, guys, not Hopkins, has signed with the Tennessee Titans. So DeAndre Hopkins with the Tennessee Titans, we're going to break down the fantasy impact. Who are the risers? Who are the fallers? I think for DeAndre Hopkins, guys, right now, on Underdog, he was going early round 4 on your fantasy drafts. He's going back end wide receiver 2 around guys like Jerry Jeudy, Drake London. And I kind of like him maybe probably over London. I still like Jeudy. We'll see. I for sure Christian Watson I prefer over DeAndre Hopkins. Those are kind of the guys going in that range, but definitely gonna get his targets, guys, in that Tennessee Titans offense. And I think that overall that Tennessee Titans offense is just going to be better this season. Obviously, now having another elite, or not another, having a elite pass catching option. We won't call Treylon Burks elite, but having an elite pass catching option there with Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. So DeAndre Hopkins probably gets a slight bump, guys. Now that we have the landing spot, you can push him up ahead, probably around your wide receiver 20-ish range. But it just depends if you're going for upside there at that pick or if you want the stability. Depends how you play fantasy. One of my main concerns, guys, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. My other point is DeAndre Hopkins going into his age 31 season. So definitely getting up there in his years. Also seen a couple of injuries, right? The past 2 seasons, he's had some nagging injuries with the hamstrings, got some knee issues. So I'm a little bit hesitant with DeAndre Hopkins this season. I'm not sure if I'll be drafting much of him personally, but going into the next player that we're going to be discussing is going to be Chiggy O. Now, Chiggy O, guys, I was really excited this year. He was going to be one of my guys that I was thinking breakout potential. I don't think we're going to see it now, guys, this season with DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to be there for 2 years. So definitely not good for the overall value of Chiggy O, especially in dynasty leagues, guys. Kind of a downer, but Chiggy O, let me give you some numbers from Chigoziem Okonkwo. Number 1, guys, in yards per reception this past season with 14.03. And this is with a minimum of 20 receptions, guys. So he was first in yards per target with 14.03. First in yak per reception with 7.81. So I was definitely liking the potential of Chig for this upcoming season. But now with DeAndre Hopkins going there, definitely a downer for Chiggy O. Got to move him down a little bit. He was going at the back end of your late round, kind of your 12 to 14 range in the tight ends. Probably still don't mind him, guys, because he's going to pretty much have that boom bust potential now that we'll get into, just with the touchdown upside that may be there for the passing offense now for the Tennessee Titans. So we'll see. Still a late round dart throw if you want, if you punt tight end and he's there at the end. Probably more of a streamer for us off the waiver wire. So that is going to do it for Chiggy O. And another player, guys, that one of the narratives I'm hearing right now for Mr. Derrick Henry, a lot of people are, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people are saying that they're going to see the less stacked boxes and they're liking it for Derrick Henry. They're moving him up their rankings. But for me, guys, I think he's going to probably stay where he's at, right? I don't mind him. I think he's a good value. He was a good value before this trade, right in there, mid-second round, early third, depending where you're drafting or what platform you're drafting. So I like Derrick Henry as a value before the Hopkins trade. I still like him now. I'm not sure I like him more than Pollard, Ramondre, some of those guys. So I'm going to keep him still right around the RB8. I think around the RB8 is probably a good spot for him still. And looking at a little bit of data here, dipping into some data. The main narrative for Derrick Henry basically winning in this scenario was obviously now having the receiving threats now lining up. But I'm not sure it's going to affect Derrick Henry too much, guys, as far as seeing stacked boxes. That's kind of what I'm hearing. And really, if you look at it this past season, he was second in the most stacked boxes, right? First was Tyler Algier, saw 40% stacked boxes. 38% of the snaps seeing 8+ defenders in the box. That was Derrick Henry this past season. But if you look at 2 years ago, guys, they had A.J. Brown there. So they had an elite wide receiver option in 2021. And even in that year, guys, Derrick Henry saw 36.5%. stack boxes. That was 7th highest in the league in 2021. So I'm not sure he's going to see that much difference, guys, in the line. The teams are still going to gear up to stop Derrick Henry, right? The game plan for the playing against the Tennessee Titans is going to be to stop Derrick Henry, right? So I still think he's going to see a lot of stat boxes just like he did in 2021. So I don't think the value really changes too much, in my opinion, for Mr. Derrick Henry. Now, who I think this affects the most in this draft, probably the biggest riser, is going to be Ryan Tannehill. It's sometimes not even drafted. So Ryan Tannehill for sure, guys, the biggest riser for me. Not a crazy amount, but a few spots, guys. I mean, now he might be worth drafting. You get that Tannehill Hopkins stack. I don't mind him. He's got the rushing upside. And I think that his efficiency definitely as a passer is going to go up as well, having an elite pass catching option once again, like he did in 2021. So let's look at some numbers, guys. So I think overall, the biggest impact is going to be on the Titans offense. So looking at it, we're going to compare a couple of numbers from 2021 and 2022. So in 2021, obviously they had AJ Brown. 2022, they didn't really have much receiving options. So gonna look at how those numbers really dipped without a legit wide receiver number one. So in 2021, guys, looking at the pass attempts, this is one thing that I think is going to improve. In 2021, there were 26 in the league in pass attempts. Not a lot, right? Still bad, but 31 pass attempts per game. This past season, no AJ Brown, they went down to 26.8 passing attempts per game, so 30th in the league. Now, also, guys, you think about when you have another playmaker on the field, definitely going to help as far as your third down conversion rate. They were 23rd in the league with 36.5% conversion rate on third downs. And in 2021, they were 11th in the league, guys, when they had AJ Brown with 42.6% conversion rate. So a little bit better, right? Converting on those third downs, making some plays, maybe getting a little bit longer drives. And the biggest difference, guys, that I saw really in comparing those numbers was in the total offensive touchdowns. Having just playmakers on the field, your offense obviously is going to be better and you're going to have a better touchdown rate. This past season, they only had 32 touchdowns from the Tennessee Titans, and 16 were on the ground, 16 through the air. So only 16 passing touchdowns. So this year, they were 24th in touchdowns. But in 2021, guys, 49 touchdowns for the Tennessee Titans. So 17 more touchdowns in comparison to 2022. And the biggest difference, guys, is they had 30. There was 30 passing touchdowns, guys. So 14 more passing touchdowns in 2021. So that's why I think that Chiggy O and even Treylon, to an extent, they're still going to have some. I think there'll still be a little bit of room. I think they'll throw a little bit more, right? A couple more pass attempts per game. And then also, in my opinion, I think those touchdowns will come up from this past season. But Ryan Tannehill, guys, definitely going to be good value. Maybe obviously a streaming option, but someone if you want to get later in your drafts, if you want to wait on QB, you know he does have the rushing upside. In 2020, guys, Ryan Tannehill had 21.1 fantasy points per game, the QB 11. In 2021, he was a QB 16, averaging 15.2 points per game, and obviously in 2022, 13.2 fantasy points per game, and that was the QB 28. So I think especially like in superflex leagues, you could probably get him as your QB3, right? I think he's got some good upside, good potential. Possibly now can break inside the top 20. Adding Deandre Hopkins, right, and still with Treylon Burks being able to stretch the field. So Ryan Tannehill, worth it in your superflex leagues, or if you want to take a chance on him in your redraft leagues. I probably won't get much of him, guys, but still definitely got to move him up the rankings a little bit after this signing. So the last player going to talk about, so getting into it, guys, the star of the show going to be Mr. Treylon Burks. We definitely love Treylon Burks coming in, right? We said he would have a slow start last year. We said he'd have a slow start because of all the stuff with training camp, having some conditioning issues. So they definitely started him out slow. Then as he increased in snaps, he had some pretty good games for us down the stretch. With this signing, though, guys, definitely hurts Treylon Burks. I know some people are saying it helps him, but I think it hurts him, guys. Deandre Hopkins, like I said, going to demand targets, going to be the lead dog now. We were hoping that would be Treylon Burks and he'd be able to show what he could do, but now it looks like that is out the window as DeAndre Hopkins is now here. So Treylon Burks looking at KTC, guys, keep trade cut going as the dynasty wide receiver 24 behind Jahan Dotson, Quentin Johnson, Jerry Jeudy. I think that's about right, guys. Jameson Williams, I think probably should go ahead of him now. Jameson Williams is behind him. Then you have Pickens, Debo, Michael Pittman's behind him. Maybe Michael Pittman goes ahead of him now. But definitely going to move around in the rankings, guys. Definitely takes takes a little bit of a fall. Not too much from you guys. I'm going to wait and see, guys. I'm not completely fading Treylon Burks. So I think he was going like around round 8 in most drafts or so. And if he goes to the double-digit rounds, I still don't mind taking him because he's going to still have some upside if something were to happen to DeAndre Hopkins, who we mentioned earlier, guys, going to be 30. He is 31 years old right now, coming off a couple of injuries for the past 2 seasons, has multiple kind of nagging injuries that he's been dealing with. So I'm not all the way out on Treylon Burks, guys. In redraft, I probably won't have much of him. But in Dynasty, I'm still definitely interested because of the potential. If something were to happen to Hopkins, guys, I still think we can see that big breakout year or season from Treylon Burks. And even with Hopkins, guys, I think he's going to make some splash plays. So more so like in best ball, I wouldn't mind drafting him, but he's going to be a little bit inconsistent. But I think he'll still have some big weeks for us when he makes some big plays down the field. So keep an eye out on the price for Treylon Burks. If he gets a dip in price, a pretty good dip in price where he's going for like a second round pick or something like that, I definitely don't mind buying some shares and seeing what happens, how it fades out. So thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Dynasty Fam channel and check out some of our other videos.